So I just graduated university and I'm feeling a lot of feelings. Whether you've just graduated like me or you graduated ages ago and you're here for the nostalgia, or maybe you're looking at yourself graduating in a year or a few years' time, I really hope that this video makes you feel seen or that you can relate to it in some way, because I have not seen the post-grad feels documented that much online. And as someone who is figuring out what to do with my life and who also loved the student experience, there are a lot of feelings and I'm here to talk about them. Hey there guys, and welcome back to Unjaded Jade. If you have no idea who I am, hi, my name is Jade, I'm 23 and I just graduated an undergraduate degree from a very untraditional university called Minerva, where I majored in cognitive science with a minor in business, and I was able to study around the world in 6 different countries across the last 4 years, which is insane. And I just got back home to England after the craziest, most wonderful graduation in San Francisco. But if I'm being honest with you, the day after graduation was one of the worst days of my life. I went from this incredible, massive celebration ceremony with all my friends and my professors, and my family came, and just feeling so proud and feeling like, wow, I literally worked my arse off for this degree. And waking up the next day after all this hecticness and just realizing that this is it. I'm no longer a student. My friends started moving out literally the day after graduation, including my roommate, who is one of my absolute best friends. And I was saying goodbye to them knowing I had absolutely no idea when I was going to next see them, especially because we're all from different countries and no one in my close life is planning on living in the same place as me, at least for the foreseeable future. I realised there were no academic tasks to complete, no impending deadlines. I just felt so empty and I didn't know what to do with myself. Before we fully jump into the video, I just want to say mental health is kind of the most important thing that people should be observing, guarding as they're coming out of the student identity, because there are so many changes and uncertainty ahead. For me, I have certain habits and tools that I use to look after my mental health, and one of the main ones that I've started using since last year is therapy. I started going to in-person therapy in January of last year, and then as my life shifted, I'm traveling a lot, I realized that online therapy suited my life better. Like, I just liked the idea of the flexibility and being able to take therapy from home. So in about May, I started using this platform called BetterHelp, and they are very kindly the sponsors of today's video, which is so fitting, so I'm going to tell you a bit about them now. Something that initially made me choose BetterHelp was that they have over 30,000 licensed, experienced therapists who have worked on all types of issues of the human experience. And what the platform does is they ask you questions at the start to match you with the right therapist. So what kind of challenges are you going through in your life? What is kind of the ideal experience that your therapist could have? I actually didn't get on as well with my first therapist because she was almost too nice. Like, I need someone who's gonna force me to be vulnerable when I'm struggling. And it was so easy to switch to a new therapist with no additional charge. I then found my current therapist, who I've been with for over 7 months. I have spoken to her throughout my university degree, and she's honestly incredible. I can live message her anytime. I have video calls once a week, and I think this ability to talk through whatever you're going candidly with a professional is one of the most underrated experiences that you can have as a young person. If you're going through graduation or any other period of uncertainty, I literally cannot recommend therapy and BetterHelp enough. It is so amazing to be able to talk through your fears and anxieties with someone. You can get 10% off your first month at betterhelp.com/unjadedjade, but the link is also in the description. We love therapy. Okay, let's chat. I'm going to talk about multiple themes I've been reflecting on since graduating, but the first one is loss of purpose and identity. I don't know about you, but whenever I meet a stranger and the stranger's like, what do you do, in life? I love being able to say, I'm a student. No one questions you when you're a student. Like, you don't have to have your life figured out. People genuinely respect that your full-time job is learning. Under the student label, I find so much solace working on these little deadlines. Like, it gives my life so much purpose and meaning. I'm not getting existential about why I'm here in the world when I'm tucked up cozily into a little essay or doing my research. I find such joy in having a community that are bonded around this shared label of student. I love the sense of belonging that comes with moving through life at the same pace as a bunch of people with the same kind of goals. As a student, you're inherently not alone. And without the label, the world seems so vast and open and exciting, but also terrifying. Like, where do I find my place in this infinite world? And at least for me, it starts to bring up questions like, who am I? What am I doing in this world? What kind of impact do I want to have? Where do I want to live? Who do I want to be around? Like, all of a sudden, I have to come up with the answer to all of these questions that have kind of been answered for me previously through the label of student. So yeah, the change of label, the change of identity is a weird one. Okay, so it is weird because at university, I had so many hats to juggle. I ran extracurriculars, I had internships, I had assignments, I had readings, I had classes, I had YouTube stuff, I wrote a book during second year, which was like burnout season, would not do that again. And having these many different aspects of life to juggle, as well as moving country every semester, I had to develop such robust routines in order to get everything done and still be a happy human. And since graduating, I just have so much space, like so much free time, but not in a nice way. Like, apart from working on YouTube stuff, there's just not much for me to do, and it's both refreshing because I know that I need that, but it's also empty and it relies on me filling my time. And I know that the fear of doing nothing is a literal byproduct of capitalism, which is a system that teaches us to value ourselves based on our productivity, our level of output, our perceived busyness. Like, that is what this system values. So this is something I have been actively unlearning, and I'm more comfortable with doing nothing than I ever used to be. But I still think I'm not very good at it, and it leaves a lot of open space for me to just overthink and become anxious. So yeah, coming out of the safe university bubble brings up a lot of space for thinking. Another thing I've been struggling with is just not knowing when I'm gonna see my friends again. The first thing that I did when I got home was I stuck photos of my friends and letters that they wrote me on the wall. This is giving words of affirmation, love language, girly. The fact that I'm putting letters on the wall. But they just mean so much to me, and they just need to be a part of my permanent space in some way. Over the last 4 years, my friends have become family, especially when studying abroad so much. Like, you just need these people. These people were my rocks. And it just feels weird when these people are your day-to-day and then suddenly they're not at all a part of it. Also, I don't know about you, but I'm really mourning the loss of the in-between friends. Like, I think you have this knowledge that with your super close friends, you'll probably see them again because you'll make that effort or you keep in touch via calls. But you know, the contextual friends, the ones that only exist in this context of school, the ones who maybe you did an extracurricular with, but you're not that close, or maybe you sat next to them in class, but you never met up with them outside of school. Or maybe every time you see them, you say hi, but that's it. Like, these are the ones who you're not going to make the effort to see in the future, and so you know that they just sort of fade into the distance. Like, it's such a weird concept, but I suppose that's just the ending of a chapter and a way to make space for new friends and new contexts and new contextual friends. When I got home, I realised that I had been romanticising the idea of being here, so much so that the concept of home was almost a figment of my imagination. This house, this context, could not live up to the way I was idealising it in my mind. You know, when you're homesick at uni and you just dream of home, you dream of the best parts, you dream of everything that's good and perfect about where you're from. But the home I was dreaming of was my childhood home, when I was a child/teenager who fit perfectly into this life here. But I've grown during my degree and I have found home in other places, and that process has continually changed and reshaped me. Almost like the way I think about it is like I'm a puzzle piece that has been changed, and like this house is the overall picture. And now that you're bringing me back here as a changed puzzle piece, I don't fully fit in the picture anymore. I'm different. It's like this is my puzzle, but it's also not anymore. I remember first coming home and looking at myself in the mirror and realizing that I have just changed a lot, and like I almost don't recognize myself now, because the last time I spent so much time at home was lockdown, and before that was secondary school. Back when I had really long hair and I was just like a cute baby Jade. And so now I must reconcile the version of me that I was before university and the version of me now, thinking about what are the parts of myself that I've gained, what are the parts that I've lost or outgrown, and how can I choose which parts I keep as I create the new Jade, I guess. In general, my goal for this summer with technically no end, because I don't have any tangible plans after, my goal is to rest, to come back to a sense of who I am beyond just like hustling my life away at uni. How do I know that I'm a bit burnt out? Well, I realised that this is maybe the least excited I've ever felt for the future. Like normally I'm so positive, I'm so optimistic, I'm so excited about the potential of life. And right now, I just don't feel that. I actually feel kind of pessimistic and kind of tired and kind of just off. And I think that's such a sign that I really need time to just do nothing and invest back in my roots. And from that process, I will find the answers, I hope. So yeah, that's a little update on how I feel post-graduation. My casual magic of today was receiving the most gorgeous notebooks ever from Papier. Don't know if you know Papier, they're like an amazing stationery company. Highly, highly recommend, especially for back to school. Look at these. Look how they shine. They're so beautiful, and they're also personalized. So it says Jade Bowler, and here it says Jade. And it's a Pisces, because I'm a sad, emotional Pisces girl with too much imagination. I cannot wait to document all my feelings and reflections into these. But yeah, thank you guys so much for coming on this university journey with me. Like, it is insane that you guys have grown up alongside me and watched my evolution. It honestly makes me emotional, because it feels like there's just like all these friends around the world that I am yet to meet. YouTube is sadly such a one-sided thing, in that the only time I really get to know you to the same extent is when we meet in person or cross paths. But the fact that you have come along on my path means a lot. If you have any advice on the post-graduation period, please let me know. What do I do with my life? How do I figure it out? Please tell me. Any advice, just I need you. But yeah, I'm sending you so much love. Definitely check out BetterHelp for amazing online therapy, and I will see you guys soon. Bye!